The space station was huge and silent in many places. Machines hummed softly, lights glowed along long corridors, and humans moved quickly, doing their work. Among them walked a man named Jaren. He was a janitor, quiet and small, with plain clothes and a mop in his hand. Most people ignored him. They thought he did simple work that no one cared about. Jaren did not mind. He liked his life. He liked the quiet and the small tasks. One evening, as he was pushing a cart down the storage corridor, he heard a soft noise. It was a kind of whimper, almost like a child crying. He paused and looked around. There was nothing at first. The lights reflected off shiny metal walls. Then he heard it again, a tiny wet sound, a sniffle or a squeak. Jaren followed the sound to a small door at the end of the corridor. It was marked as a temporary holding room. Normally humans were not allowed inside. But the noise made him curious. The door was slightly open. He peeked in. Inside, on the floor, was a small creature. It was a dragon hatchling no bigger than a human child. Its scales were a soft silver, its eyes bright and round. It looked weak and scared. Its wings were folded awkwardly and it trembled. When it saw Jaren, it made a small, uncertain noise, but it did not run away. Jaren knelt down slowly, careful not to scare it. "Hey there, are you okay?" he whispered. The hatchling tilted its head, then stepped closer to him. Its tiny claws clicked softly on the floor. It sniffed his hand. Jaren felt a strange warmth. He had never seen a dragon up close before. He had never touched one. But it did not bite or hiss. It seemed curious. He looked around, worried someone might catch him. Dragons were dangerous and the station's rules were strict. If anyone found him here, he could get into serious trouble. But the hatchling looked fragile, almost helpless. Jaren knew he could not leave it alone. He reached into his pocket and found a small piece of bread. He broke it and offered it. The hatchling sniffed it, then gently nibbled. Jaren smiled. Good, it's okay," he said softly. He stayed crouched on the floor, talking quietly while the hatchling ate. He noticed that no one else had come to check the room. The station was empty in this part, and the lights made the silver scales glow. It was almost beautiful. The hatchling finished the bread and looked at Jaren again. Then it did something strange. It followed him when he stood up. He took a step back, and the tiny dragon stepped closer, as if it had decided that he was safe. Jaren froze. You're going to follow me?" he said quietly. The hatchling blinked and let out a soft squeak, then walked after him. He walked slowly down the corridor and the hatchling kept up. He turned corners carefully, testing it, and the dragon followed every time. It was not scared and it was not running away. It was curious, patient, and somehow very brave for such a small creature. Jaren felt a strange bond forming. He had no idea why this little dragon trusted him so quickly. As they moved, Jaren noticed that other staff had begun to watch. Aliens and humans in the maintenance bay whispered and pointed. "Why is it following him?" someone asked. "It's supposed to stay in containment." Jaren ignored them. He did not want to draw attention. He had to figure out what to do. The hatchling was not going to leave him. He could see that. And somehow he felt that this was not an accident. The dragon had chosen him. But why? He did not know yet. By the time Jaren reached the end of the corridor, he was tired but determined. The hatchling had walked silently beside him the whole way. He decided to take it to his small storage room. It was not a proper place for a dragon, but it was safe and quiet. He closed the door carefully behind them. The hatchling looked around, its eyes wide, then settled in a corner. It was still small, still trembling, but calmer. Jaren sat on the floor a few feet away and watched it. "You've chosen me, haven't you?" he asked quietly. The hatchling blinked slowly. Jaren smiled softly. "I don't know why, but I'll take care of you. I promise." Outside, in the main corridors, the station went on as usual. Machines hummed, lights blinked, and staff moved from place to place. But in that small storage room, something special was happening. A human janitor and a dragon hatchling had met. Neither fully understood the bond forming between them, but it was real. The hatchling would not leave him, and Jaren would not let it down. The mother dragon, somewhere far in her own containment, watched silently through her monitors. She had already noticed her hatchling's choice. A human janitor, small, quiet, and unnoticed by everyone, had caught her child's attention. And she was not angry. She was curious. Very curious. The night passed, quiet and soft, with Jaren and the hatchling together. Outside, the station slept. Inside, a tiny friendship began. And it would change everything. The next morning, Jaren returned to the storage room, carrying a small tray of food. The hatchling was already awake, its bright silver scales catching the dim light. It looked at him and made a soft squeak, hopping a little closer. Jaren smiled. "Good morning, little one. Hungry?" The hatchling sniffed the tray. It was eager but cautious. Jaren placed the food near it and stepped back. The creature ate quickly, crunching and nibbling, but kept glancing at Jaren as if checking he would stay. He noticed it had grown slightly overnight. Its wings were a little stronger and its tail flicked with more confidence. Jaren sat on the floor nearby. He wanted the hatchling to trust him fully, not just because he fed it but because he cared. "You're smart, aren't you?" he whispered. The hatchling blinked and clicked its small claws on the floor. Jaren laughed quietly. "Yes, you are. I can see it." Over the next few days, Jaren spent more time with the hatchling. He cleaned its small corner, brought water, and even made soft toys from scraps of cloth. The hatchling learned quickly. It started recognizing his voice, following simple gestures, and even responding when he called its name. Jaren had not named it yet. He wanted the right name, something strong, something special. Other people on the station noticed the hatchling following him. Some laughed. Some were scared. "That human is taking care of a dragon?" they said. "It's impossible. Dragons are dangerous." But the hatchling ignored everyone else. It only cared about Jaren. One evening, as Jaren sat on the floor with the hatchling nestled beside him, he thought about why it trusted him so much. It was not his strength. He was small and quiet. It was not his intelligence. He was just a janitor. The hatchling seemed to recognize kindness, could feel care, empathy, and patience. And Jaren had those qualities quietly every day. The hatchling's mother watched from her containment chamber. She was enormous, her silver scales shining like the night sky. She did not interfere, only observed. Her eyes followed every small movement of her child. She had never seen a human act like this, so humble, so patient, yet so brave in small ways. The hatchling had chosen Jaren and she was curious why. One day a small accident happened in the maintenance bay. A loose panel sparked and smoke filled the corridor. People panicked, running to safety. The hatchling got scared and froze in the middle of the hallway. Jaren ran to it without hesitation. "It's okay, stay close to me," he shouted, gently scooping it up. The dragon squirmed but stayed in his arms, trusting him completely. Others watched in amazement. Aliens who had mocked him before were now silent. They had never seen a human handle a dragon without fear. They could see the bond was real and it was strong. Jaren did not fight or shout at the hatchling. He only moved calmly, guiding it to safety. The hatchling responded, its tiny body pressing against his chest, following his lead. After the incident, Jaren spent more time with the hatchling in secret. He realized it needed more than food and safety. It needed care, companionship, and understanding. He started talking to it about simple things, the stars outside, the hum of the machines, even the small flowers he grew in his tiny storage corner. The hatchling listened, tilting its head as if it understood every word. Jaren also began training it in small ways. He used gentle gestures to teach it to stay, to respond to his calls, and even to fly short distances inside the room. The hatchling was quick to learn. It tried again and again, never giving up, just like Jaren had noticed humans did in small ways. Their patience matched and slowly a partnership formed. During one quiet night, the hatchling crawled onto Jaren's shoulder while he cleaned the floor. It curled around his neck, resting its head near his ear. Jaren froze, feeling warmth and trust he had never experienced before. "You're brave," he whispered. "And you're mine to protect. I'll never let anyone hurt you." The hatchling blinked slowly, a sound like a soft purr escaping its throat. Jaren realized it was its way of showing gratitude. Meanwhile, the mother dragon watched silently, her large eyes reflecting light. She saw how carefully Jaren treated her child, how patiently he built trust, how gently he guided it. No one had ever made the hatchling feel safe like this. She began to understand something strange. Humans could do things that no other species could. They could inspire loyalty, trust, and even love through small acts of kindness. By the end of the week, the bond between Jaren and the hatchling was unbreakable. It followed him everywhere on the station, sometimes hiding under carts, sometimes perched on his shoulder. He finally gave it a name, Silver, for its shining scales and courageous spirit. Jaren smiled as he watched Silver explore the room. "You're amazing," he said. "I don't know why you chose me, but I'll never let you down." Silver chirped softly in response, hopping onto his lap. Jaren laughed, a quiet, happy sound. The station was full of noise and chaos, but here, in this small room, a human and a dragon hatchling were building something extraordinary. Outside the storage room, life on the station continued. People worked, machines hummed, and aliens walked past. But inside, A story of trust, courage, and friendship was growing. A human janitor and a dragon hatchling had found each other. And their bond would soon change everything. Jaren had grown used to Silver following him everywhere. The little dragon hatchling was brave, curious, and loyal. But not everyone on the station approved. Many of the scientists and security officers began to whisper about the dragon. "They can't just let it roam freely," one alien said. "It's dangerous." "It's only a hatchling," another replied. "But even a small dragon can be deadly if it panics." Jaren heard the whispers but ignored them. He knew Silver trusted him. That was all that mattered. He took Silver to the quietest corners of the station where no one could see them. He cleaned the room, brought food and water, and watched Silver grow stronger each day. One morning the alarms went off. Red lights flashed across the corridors. Smoke filled a small section of the station near the hatchling's containment area. Scientists shouted orders. "Evacuate! Evacuate!" Jaren froze. Silver was in the middle of it all. The little dragon chirped, scared and confused. Jaren's heart pounded. He ran through the smoke, ignoring the alarms, ignoring the shouting. He called Silver's name. Silver saw him and squeaked. It scrambled toward him, slipping over debris, but it moved fast. Jaren reached it just in time and scooped it into his arms. He felt its small heart beating against his chest. "It's okay, Silver," he whispered. "I've got you." But the danger was not over. The smoke was thick and sparks flew from damaged panels. Other humans and aliens tried to push him back. "Step aside. You can't go in there," a security officer shouted. "I can't leave it," Jaren yelled. "It trusts me. I won't let it die." Some of the nearby humans gasped. They had never seen such courage from a janitor before. Jaren ignored them. He moved carefully through the smoke, keeping Silver safe in his arms. The little dragon did not panic. It seemed to know he was in control. Finally, Jaren reached a safe corner near the maintenance room. He set Silver down gently. The hatchling shook a little but chirped softly, pressing its head against his hand. Jaren smiled. "See? You're safe now. I told you I wouldn't let anyone hurt you." News of the incident spread quickly. Other humans began to look at Jaren differently. He had done something no one else dared to do. He had entered a dangerous area, unarmed, to save a creature that everyone else feared. The aliens who had mocked him before now looked surprised. "He actually did it," one muttered. The scientists, however, were not pleased. They argued that Silver could not stay loose on the station. "It's unpredictable," one shouted. "Even a hatchling could destroy equipment or hurt someone." Jaren stood quietly. "Silver trusts me," he said simply. "It will not hurt anyone if I am with it. I will take responsibility." The mother dragon, watching from her containment area, observed everything. She had seen how her hatchling reacted, how it trusted Jaren, how it followed him even in danger. She had never seen a human show such courage for another being. She felt something strange, a mix of respect and curiosity. Over the next few days, tensions grew. Security officers increased patrols, and the scientists demanded the hatchling be returned to containment permanently. But Silver refused. Every time anyone tried to take it, it would squeak and refuse to move. It would not leave Jaren's side. Jaren realized something important. The station might fear Silver, but the hatchling was not dangerous to him. It saw him as a protector. He began speaking calmly to the scientists and officers, showing that Silver could be handled safely. Slowly, some began to understand. But others remained suspicious. Then a new problem appeared. A small group of aliens wanted to capture Silver for study. They believed dragons could give them power if experimented on. They cornered the hatchling one evening while Jaren was bringing water. Silver hissed, its tiny wings raised, ready to defend itself. Jaren stepped in front. "Stop. You won't touch it," he shouted. He had no weapon, nothing but courage. He felt fear, but he also felt something stronger, something humans always had, the will to protect those who trusted them. The aliens paused, confused. A human janitor, small and unarmed, was standing in front of a dragon hatchling without flinching. They had never seen a human show such bravery. Slowly they backed away. Silver chirped and pressed against Jaren's chest. It was as if it knew he had won the first real test. The bond between them had been tested under danger, and it had grown even stronger. Jaren realized something amazing. Humans were underestimated because of their size, their quietness, their simplicity. But courage and loyalty were qualities no alien could ignore. By the end of the week, the situation calmed. Silver stayed with Jaren, still following him everywhere. The other humans began to respect him. Some aliens were still wary, but even they could not deny what had happened. And far away in her large containment chamber, the mother dragon watched quietly. She had seen how her hatchling acted, how it had trusted a human, how it had refused anyone else. She knew something remarkable was happening. Her hatchling had chosen a human janitor. And she wanted to see why. Jaren looked at Silver as it curled around his shoulder that evening. "We made it," he whispered. "They don't understand us yet, but that's okay. They will see. We just have to be patient." Silver chirped softly in agreement. The bond between a human and a dragon had grown stronger in the face of danger. And soon, everyone on the station would realize that bravery, kindness, and loyalty were qualities that even the strongest alien could not match. The space station had grown tense. Everyone was watching Jaren and Silver closely now. Some humans admired them quietly, while many aliens still doubted that a janitor could control or care for a dragon hatchling. But Jaren did not care. He only cared about Silver and keeping it safe. One morning, a loud alarm shook the station. A critical system in the energy core had malfunctioned. Sparks flew and smoke filled the hallways. The computer warned that the core could explode if not stabilized. Panic spread quickly. Engineers ran to their consoles. Aliens shouted orders. Everyone scrambled, unsure what to do. Jaren had been cleaning near the energy core when the alarm sounded. Silver, perched on his shoulder, hissed nervously. Jaren felt a tight knot in his stomach. The core was dangerous. One wrong move could destroy half the station, or worse. But he also knew something the others did not. He had cleaned every corridor and maintenance room here for years. He knew the station better than anyone. He knew the shortcuts, the emergency valves, the small panels no one else noticed. He grabbed Silver gently. "Stay close," he whispered. The little dragon chirped softly, understanding that this was serious. Jaren ran down the corridors, ducking under sparks and smoke. Other humans and aliens struggled to reach the core safely, but he moved quickly, guided by experience, not fear. When he reached the malfunctioning section, he saw chaos. Engineers argued, trying to fix the valves. Smoke burned their eyes. Sparks fell dangerously. Jaren took a deep breath. He had never worked with the energy core before, but he knew he could help. He pointed to the damaged panels. "Close this valve first. Then open that one," he shouted. At first, the engineers ignored him. "Who is this janitor?" one demanded. "I've cleaned here for years. I know the shortcuts and panels no one else notices," Jaren yelled. "Trust me, I can guide you." The engineers hesitated, but the situation left no choice. They followed his directions. Slowly, panel by panel, valve by valve, the energy core stabilized. Sparks ceased. Smoke cleared. The alarm stopped. Silver chirped proudly from Jaren's shoulder. It had stayed calm the entire time, watching him, learning from him. The other humans stared in awe. Aliens who had doubted him looked shocked. A janitor, small and quiet, had saved the station from disaster. Not with strength or weapons, but with knowledge, courage, and quick thinking. After the emergency ended, station authorities gathered to discuss the incident. The scientists who had tried to capture Silver were silent. Security officers who had doubted Jaren's abilities now nodded respectfully. Even some aliens admitted, quietly, that humans could be more capable than they realized. Jaren stood quietly, holding Silver in his arms. "It's not about being the strongest," he said simply. "It's about paying attention, caring, and doing what's right. That's all anyone can do." The mother dragon, watching from her containment chamber, observed the events closely. She saw how Jaren moved calmly, even when danger surrounded him. She saw how Silver trusted him completely. She understood now why her hatchling had chosen this human. Humans had courage and intelligence in ways other species could not always see. They could inspire loyalty, protect the weak, and act with patience and care under pressure. In the days that followed, more people began to see humans differently. Small crews of engineers asked Jaren for advice. Aliens who had mocked him before were cautious around him, respecting his skill and insight. Even the scientists who once doubted Silver's safety began to allow the hatchling limited freedom. They saw that with Jaren, Silver was not a threat but a partner. Jaren also taught Silver new things. The hatchling learned to follow his gestures to open small panels, move objects, and even alert him if something was wrong in a corridor. It was not just a pet, it was a helper, a friend, and a partner. They understood each other in ways no one else could. One evening, after a long day, Jaren sat on the floor of his storage room. Silver curled around his neck, resting its head on his shoulder. He stroked its soft scales, thinking about everything that had happened. "You know, little one," he said, "we've done something amazing together. They don't understand yet, but one day they will see. Humans are small, but we can be special. Silver chirped softly in agreement. It had grown stronger, braver, and more confident. But it still looked to Jaren for guidance. The bond between them was unbreakable. Outside, the station continued its busy life. Aliens and humans moved through corridors, machines hummed, lights flashed, and alarms rang occasionally. But now, somewhere in the middle of it all, a small human janitor and a dragon hatchling had proven something extraordinary. They had shown that courage, knowledge, and loyalty could accomplish what weapons and technology sometimes could not. And far away, the mother dragon blinked slowly. She had witnessed her hatchling's choice. She had watched how Jaren had saved the station, guided the crew, and cared for her child. She began to realize something incredible. Humans might be small, but their hearts, minds, and courage could change the galaxy in ways no one had ever imagined. Jaren looked at Silver as it nuzzled his neck. "We're ready for anything now," he whispered. "And soon they will all see what humans can do." For the first time, Jaren felt a deep pride, not in himself, but in the human spirit that had guided him, protected Silver, and shown everyone that even the quietest, smallest person could make a difference. And in the quiet of that storage room, a janitor and a dragon hatchling prepared for whatever challenges awaited them next, side by side, stronger together than anyone could imagine. The station had quieted after the last crisis. Systems were repaired, smoke cleared, and the engineers had returned to their work. But something had changed. The small human janitor, Jaren, and the dragon hatchling, Silver, had become the center of attention. People whispered about them everywhere, humans and aliens alike. Some admired Jaren quietly, impressed by his courage and cleverness. Some aliens still doubted him but watched carefully, knowing that he had already proven himself in ways they could not understand. Even the scientists who had once wanted to take Silver for study were hesitant now. The hatchling would not leave Jaren's side and no one could force it. Jaren walked through the corridors with Silver perched lightly on his shoulder. The little dragon's silver scales sparkled under the station lights. Wherever he went, others watched in silence, curious and cautious. Jaren ignored the stares. He was focused on Silver and the responsibility he now carried. The hatchling had chosen him and he knew he had to live up to that trust. One afternoon, the mother dragon appeared on the station's observation screens. She had been quiet until now, watching her hatchling grow and learn with Jaren. Her massive silver form filled the chamber, her eyes calm but intense. The station fell silent as she spoke through the translator system, her voice deep and powerful. "She has chosen you," she said, looking directly at Jaren. "And I have observed. You are brave, patient, and kind. You are worthy of her trust." The room erupted in whispers. No one had ever seen a dragon speak like this, and no one had imagined a human being called worthy by such a creature. Jaren bowed his head slightly. "I will protect her," he said simply. "I will not let her be hurt." The mother dragon's eyes softened. "Then you are part of my family now. She will remain with you and I will watch. Together, you will both grow stronger." From that day forward, Jaren and Silver became a symbol on the station. People began to see humans differently. They saw that humans, though small and quiet, could inspire loyalty, courage, and trust. A single human had faced danger, protected a dragon, and saved lives, proving that greatness was not measured by size, weapons, or status. Jaren continued his work as a janitor, cleaning halls and corridors, but now he did so with confidence and respect. Silver followed him everywhere, growing stronger each day. The little dragon learned new things not just about survival but about kindness, patience, and trust. Together, they explored the station, fixing small problems, helping crew members, and quietly showing the unique value of humans. Children on the station began to watch them with awe. Young humans whispered stories of the janitor who befriended a dragon. Aliens, even the skeptical ones, began to ask for advice or watch quietly, learning from Jaren's calm intelligence. He did not boast or demand recognition. He only acted with courage, patience, and care, qualities that quietly inspired everyone around him. One evening, Jaren and Silver sat on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. The galaxy stretched endlessly before them, sparkling with planets, moons, and distant suns. Silver chirped softly, nuzzling Jaren's shoulder. "You've grown fast," Jaren said, smiling. "And we've done something amazing together. They don't understand yet, but they will. One day humans will be seen for what they really are, not just workers, not just small creatures, but beings capable of courage, loyalty, and change." Silver blinked and chirped as if agreeing. Jaren knew she understood more than anyone realized. She trusted him and he trusted her. Together they had formed a bond that went beyond species, beyond fear, and beyond expectations. The mother dragon watched from her chamber. She saw the bond and realized something remarkable. Humans were small, fragile in appearance, but their spirit was unmatched. They could inspire trust, face danger without weapons, and protect those who could not protect themselves. She had chosen well in allowing her hatchling to follow Jaren. Word of Jaren and Silver's deeds spread across the station. Humans who had once been ignored began to take pride in themselves. They worked harder, acted more bravely, and believed in their potential. Jaren did not seek glory, but he had ignited something powerful, a quiet reminder that even the smallest, simplest humans could leave a lasting impact. One day as he cleaned a hallway, a small group of young humans approached him. "Sir," one said, "will you teach us how to be brave like you?" Jaren smiled and patted Silver's head. "Bravery isn't about fighting or winning. It's about caring for others, standing up when it matters, and never giving up. That's all anyone can do." The children nodded, and Silver chirped softly as if encouraging them. Jaren realized that the legacy of a janitor and a dragon hatchling would continue. It was not about power or weapons, it was about spirit, kindness, and courage. As night fell, Jaren looked at the stars again. Silver curled around his neck, sleeping peacefully. He felt proud, not of himself but of what humans could do when they showed patience, bravery, and heart. Somewhere, the mother dragon watched, satisfied that her hatchling had chosen wisely. And in the quiet of the station, a human janitor and a dragon hatchling had created a new legacy. One that reminded everyone, aliens and humans alike, that the smallest and quietest beings could achieve greatness, inspire loyalty, and change the galaxy, simply by being courageous, kind, and true. The galaxy had never seen a bond like theirs before. And it would never forget it.